everyone! Today I will be sharing with you my coziest winter book recommendations. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and I am so excited that you're here today because today I am sharing with you the coziest books that I know of for this winter season. There is nothing quite like a good book with lots of snow, lots of atmosphere so that it can make you feel even more cozy during the Christmas and holiday season so that you can snuggle up with a good book and a good blanket by a roaring fire with a piping hot cup of tea or cocoa. I honestly think that it is one of my favorite things in the entire world and I look forward to this season every single year. So I am incredibly excited. So the way I've done this list are half of these books are books that I have read and loved and half are books that I am anxious to read this winter season because they seem like they're gonna give me all of the cozy winter vibes. Not all of these books, by the way, have to do with Christmas. In fact, only I think a few of them do, but all of these are going to be set in the winter time. Also, isn't my mug so cute? It's like a little ski resort thing. I don't know, I think it's really cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with all of the books that I have read first that I highly recommend. So this list is actually going to include all different age ranges, so adult, middle grade, and YA, but if you would like more middle grade recommendations, I actually did this exact same video concept except all middle grade last year, and I will go ahead and link that up above and down in the description. And then also my friend Gavin has also done a cozy middle grade recommendations video this year, so I will link that down below as well. You should totally go check it out. He always has great recommendations for middle grade. I love his taste. So the first book that I have here is a classic, and it is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. This is such an amazing book to read. It's very short as well, but it's also a great movie to watch around this time of year as well. It's about 4 siblings who are staying, I think, with like a distant relative around World War II, and one day they are playing hide and seek, and Lucy, who is the youngest, discovers that there is a portal to another world in the back of a wardrobe, and this world is winter all of the time. It is so cozy, it is so magical, it is so perfect, and it really brings back a lot of nostalgia for me. This really reminds me of my childhood, so I highly recommend this. I just think that any age could really enjoy this. It's so well done. Okay, the next book I have here is Greenglass House, and this is by Kate Milford. This is actually going to be my 3rd time rereading it this holiday season. It's become kind of like a tradition now. I reread it every single holiday season because it is such a cozy book. This follows Milo, and Milo lives with his parents in Greenglass House, which is a smuggler's inn, which means the only people who come to this place are people who are smugglers and thieves, and they all come on Christmas night and they all seem to be hiding something. So it's kind of a little bit of like a detective story. Milo is trying to figure out what they are hiding and why they are all there. It is so cozy, it is so atmospheric. It actually all takes place on Christmas Eve, and so you get kind of like that Christmassy, cozy, warm vibe feeling going on. It is literal peak as far as my recommendations for the winter time. This is one of my very favorite books. I just don't think you can go wrong with this book at all. Okay, next we have an adult book, and it is The Bear and the Nightingale, and this is by Katherine Arden. This book is such a cozy book. When I think of atmospheric books, I always think of this book. The entire thing takes place in Russia in the dead of winter, and it is so beautiful. So this follows Vasilia, and Vasilia believes in the old ways of her Russian heritage. So she believes that there are little mini gods, and not only does she believe in these, but she also can see these. So she can see like these little gnomes and fairies and trolls everywhere. And one day when her father remarries, her mom tries to sort of stop the old ways, and these magical creatures slowly start to die off, and there is this terrible darkness that starts to come to the town, and Vasilia is trying to stop the darkness. It is so atmospheric. It reads like a fairy tale, but it's just the coziest thing in the world. Katherine Arden is such a brilliant writer, and so if you want something that is going to just set you in the dead of winter in Russia, you're gonna wanna pick this up. It was beautiful in every single way. Next here, we have another adult, and it is Spinning Silver, and this is by Naomi Novic. I think that this is one of the most beautiful book covers I've ever seen in my entire life. I just love it so much. This book is really hard to explain, and it's really easy to give away a lot of things, but what I will tell you is that it is set in the dead of winter, I believe in Russia, and it is a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, but it reads like a fairy tale. There are so many really interesting and dynamic characters in here. We follow two main plots. Basically, we follow a girl named Miriam who is taking over her father's business, and she attracts the attention of kind of like the Prince of Winter, sort of. I don't exactly want to say who it is, but it's sort of like that. And then Irina is married off to a czar, and the czar is harboring a secret. And so it's just very, very magical and very atmospheric. I highly recommend this book if you are looking for something that is going to make you feel very cozy, and it's going to make you also want to snuggle up in a blanket because the setting of this is so cold, but I absolutely loved it. It's very enchanting, and I think it's perfect for this time of year. And then the final book that I have read that I personally am recommending is Girls Made of Snow and Glass. This is a really fun one. This is actually a retelling of Snow White, and I really, really enjoyed this. This has gotten some really, really great reviews. It's actually gotten a starred review from Kirkus, which as a librarian, I always like to look at who is giving out starred reviews and how many starred reviews does a book have. But yeah, this is the retelling of Snow White and her stepmother. It has a very interesting twist. They're kind of sort of like friends in this, and I just really, really enjoyed where the plot went. The whole entire thing is set in the dead of winter, and the descriptions of the snow and how cold and crisp it is were so beautiful. I really enjoyed reading this. I think I gave this actually a 5 out of 5 stars. So if you are looking for a retelling set in winter, look no further than Girls Made of Snow and Glass. So that is it for the books that I have already read. These are now going to be the books that I really want to read this cozy winter season. So the very first one is the book that I actually don't have. It's on order to my house now, and it is called Castle in the Clouds. This book is about a hotel, and there's a little bit of a murder mystery happening at this hotel. I've heard that this is very atmospheric. I know that the entire thing is supposed to take place around wintertime, and for some reason that whole setup of a cozy mystery happening in this mysterious hotel sounds so perfect for this time of year. It kind of is giving me Greenglass House vibes or Winter House vibes by Ben Gutterson, so I really wanted to pick this up. This, by the way, is a YA book as well. Next up, we have a book that I have talked about quite a few times on my channel, and that is The Hunting Party, and this is by Lucy Foley. This is a book that I really want to read for so many reasons. One of the main ones is that this takes place in Scotland, and if you didn't know, I am obsessed with Scotland. I really want to move to Scotland. Specifically, I want to move to Edinburgh, and so I think one of the main reasons I want to read this is because of the location. So this takes place in Scotland in the dead of winter, and a group of friends all goes to stay in this, I think like a winter resort. They get snowed in and somebody dies. And so you're trying to figure out who is killing who and what are their motives. And I don't know, it just sounds really cozy. Maybe not cozy to read about murder, but cozy to read about a mystery set in Scotland in the wintertime. I think it'll be really perfect to kind of curl up by a fire. Yeah, so I'm very excited about this one. It says, everyone's invited, everyone's a suspect. Dun dun dun! I'm gonna go ahead and talk about these other two books as well because that one was on my TBR, so these two are also on my TBR. If you missed my December TBR, I have a lot of winter books on that as well, and I will go ahead and link that down below. But I do mention both of these, so I will briefly mention them here. The first one is The Light Between Worlds, and this is by Laura A. Weymouth. So this particular book is about two twin sisters who find their way into another world where it is winter all of the time. And then when they come back, I think one of the sisters is really struggling with basically having to live in reality again, and she really wants to go back. When I talked about this in my December TBR video, a lot of people who had already read it commented down below that this is actually a reflection on depression as well, and how both sisters kind of handle that in totally different ways, which I think is really interesting. So this is supposed to be kind of a sad book, but also really atmospheric, and I think it'll be kind of perfect for this time of year. So I'm really excited. I also really like that they're both going into another world. It kind of gives me like Narnia vibes, which I love because I love the Chronicles of Narnia, so I'm very excited for this one. The next book is a book that actually was brought to my attention by Book of the Month. Book of the Month kindly sent me a bunch of books, which was so sweet of them. They're actually doing this really awesome promotion where if you buy their book subscription throughout the entire month of December, instead of paying their normal price, which I think is $14.99, you only pay $5, which is so freaking cool. I will leave down a link down below if you are interested in purchasing from them. But this is one of the books that was in the book box, and this is the one that I think I will be reading this season. It is called In a Holidays, and it is by Christina Lauren. So this is a little bit of a rom-com, but it's also a time loop story, which I really love. So this is all about Maylene Jones, who is traveling to Utah for the holidays, and I think she has to keep repeating the exact same holiday experience again and again and again, and I'm pretty sure while that is happening she falls in love. So I'm excited to kind of see where this goes. I think it'll be really fun, and I love reading about stories that involve time and time loops and things like that, so I'm just really excited for In a Holidays. Also, doesn't it kind of sound like the perfect Hallmark movie? I don't know. This reminds me a lot of Hallmark, and so I think I might make like a whole day where I'm just gonna drink hot chocolate and snuggle in my PJs and read this. It's gonna be a good time, I just know it. So the next book here is called The Crown's Game. I have the Advanced Readers Edition, but I'm assuming it's the same thing. I got this back when I was a bookseller and I never read it, but I really, really wanna read it this season. So this kind of has like night circus vibes. It basically takes place in Russia in the dead of winter. Can you see a theme here? Obviously, I really love Russia, especially around this time of year. It just reminds me of the winter time, but anyways, this takes place in Russia, and in this world, there are two wizards that are competing to protect the Tsar of Russia. And to compete, they have to enter in this game to basically show who is the most powerful. However, there's only one winner and the loser dies. So they kind of get very aggressive with their game, but along the way, these two wizards fall in love. So it's a little bit of like a love story. It's magical. It's set in wintertime. I think it's gonna be perfect for this time of year. I've always wanted to read it. And this is, by the way, a YA book. So hopefully this will be really cozy. Then we got the last two. So the very first one is a classic, and it is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I have wanted to read this book for actual years. The whole thing is set in wintertime, and it is about the four March sisters, and it's about their relationship and their sisterhood, about their fights and about their triumphs, and a lot of it takes place in the wintertime, so it's gonna give you those cozy, Christmassy vibes. I think it's gonna be perfect. I am so excited. I also really wanna rewatch the movie because I loved the movie, so I think I might plan a day where I just read this book. I don't know if I can finish it in a day because, like, have you seen this? But I'm gonna try to read this and then watch the movie and just make that a whole weekend. I think it'll be really, really fun. So yeah, that is Little Women. And then the final book that I am recommending and that I also really want to read is going to be A Wild Winter Swan, and this is by Gregory Maguire. I found this in Barnes & Noble, and it immediately caught my attention because it looks so beautiful. It basically looks like a snow globe here, and when I read the synopsis, I knew I immediately had to buy it. This is apparently a little bit of a love story. It's about a girl named Laura, and Laura lives in Manhattan, and around the winter time, there is a swan that she sees, and I believe the swan transforms into a person and they fall in love. It sounds beautiful, so we've got a little bit of magical realism happening, but also the whole thing is set in wintertime in New York. It sounds so incredibly perfect for this season. I think it'll be beautiful. I've heard really excellent things about this book. I've heard it's really atmospheric and really whimsical. It sounds a little bit like a fairy tale, and I love books like that around the wintertime, so I'm very excited to try to get to this ASAP. But there you have it, you guys. Those are all of the books that I am recommending for cozy books set in the wintertime. I hope that you have found a couple that maybe sparked a little bit of an interest. Do you have any books that you would like to recommend me that I should pick up this wintertime? If you do, please let me know down in the comments so that I can add them to my Goodreads. I am always looking for more books. You guys know you can never have too many books, right? Right. I think that is all for now, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy this nice hot coffee while it is still hot and maybe read a little bit. So until next time, you guys, keep your head in the clouds and your heart in a book. And I will talk to you very soon. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Santa, the city is covered in snow tonight. Where did my love go? Santa, I'm waiting for him, but he's nowhere.